The opening scene is carefully crafted to establish both Maya's emotional state and the stark contrast between her perception of her life and the shocking reality she's about to face. After a taxing day at her corporate law firm, Maya returns home, exhausted yet content in what she believes is a stable and loving relationship. This setup is crucial. It allows the audience to feel her sense of security and trust, making the upcoming betrayal all the more devastating. The mundane act of tidying her living room serves as a narrative device to ground the scene in reality while also triggering the pivotal moment of discovery. The small velvet box hidden under the cushion is symbolic. It represents not just a physical object of commitment, but also the hidden truths within her relationship. The audience is drawn into her perspective, sharing in the initial excitement of finding what seems to be a thoughtful surprise, before the devastating realization hits. This careful juxtaposition of routine normalcy and impending revelation heightens suspense and sets the emotional hook from the very beginning. The moment Maya opens the velvet box, the narrative pivots sharply from comfort to shock. The sparkling engagement ring initially sparks hope and elation, evoking the audience's empathy and alignment with her excitement. However, the attached note addressed to someone named Anna instantly shatters that hope, revealing Ethan's duplicity. This duality of emotion, from joy to heartbreak in mere seconds, immerses the reader in Maya's internal turmoil. The note also introduces Anna as an unseen but significant character, creating immediate tension and questions. Who is Anna? How long has Ethan been deceitful? These questions engage the audience intellectually and emotionally, while Maya's forced composure in the presence of Ethan amplifies the tension. Her outward calm contrasts with her inner chaos, highlighting the betrayal's intensity and establishing the story's dramatic undercurrent. This tension also foreshadows Maya's eventual confrontation with Ethan and the unraveling of their relationship, keeping readers hooked. The final beat of this section deepens the emotional resonance by focusing on Maya's private grief and reflection. By locking herself in the bedroom with the ring and note, she isolates her shock, allowing the audience to experience the betrayal alongside her without external distraction. Flashbacks of moments in their relationship, shared laughter, intimate conversations, and Ethan's charm interweave with her present heartbreak, illustrating how deeply her trust has been violated. These memories underscore the emotional stakes. What Maya believed to be genuine love was built on deception. The juxtaposition of past joy with present despair magnifies the impact of Ethan's betrayal, creating a layered emotional experience. This section firmly establishes Maya as a sympathetic protagonist, sets up Ethan as a complex antagonist, and positions Anna as a looming narrative element. The emotional focus, shock, heartbreak, and disbelief anchors the story's opening, ensuring readers are invested in Maya's journey from the very first pages. Maya's backstory establishes the foundation for her emotional complexity and resilience. Raised in a single-parent household, she witnessed her mother juggling multiple jobs to keep the family afloat. This upbringing instilled in Maya a strong sense of independence and determination, shaping her into a highly driven professional who values self-reliance. However, growing up with limited emotional stability also made her cautious in matters of the heart. Previous relationships ended prematurely due to her difficulty fully trusting partners, highlighting her vulnerability to emotional betrayal. This history makes Ethan's duplicity not only shocking but also personally destabilizing, as it taps into insecurities she has long tried to suppress. The audience is invited to empathize with Maya's internal struggles, understanding that her heartbreak is magnified by a lifetime of guarding herself against disappointment. Her professional success, self-discipline, and emotional caution set her up as a character whose vulnerability is starkly contrasted by her competence, amplifying the stakes of any personal betrayal. Ethan's background adds layers to the impending conflict, emphasizing the disparity between appearance and reality. Coming from wealth and social prestige, he projects charm, sophistication, and success, making him appear confident and reliable. Yet beneath this polished exterior lies emotional avoidance. Ethan struggles with genuine intimacy, often using relationships to maintain an image of control and social perfection rather than forming authentic connections. His relationship with Maya, therefore, is less about love and more about personal validation and projection of success. This duality introduces tension, as Maya's affection and trust collide with Ethan's calculated emotional distance. Small, subtle signs, late-night secrecy, vague explanations, emotional unavailability begin to emerge, hinting at cracks in the seemingly perfect relationship. These inconsistencies create an early sense of unease, allowing readers to sense the underlying betrayal even before Maya fully realizes it, heightening suspense and emotional investment. The present setup intricately balances Maya's professional ambitions with her personal vulnerabilities, establishing a rich emotional landscape. As she prepares for a high-profile work presentation, the narrative showcases her competence, strategic thinking, and confidence in the corporate world. Yet this professional poise contrasts sharply with her personal life, where her trust and emotional security are subtly eroding. Supporting characters such as Clara, her pragmatic and protective best friend, and Jason, her empathetic younger brother, provide grounding, offering both counsel and emotional perspective. Maya's growing intuition about Ethan's behavior clashes with her desire to believe in love, creating internal conflict that is both relatable and tension-filled. The stakes are thus twofold. Professionally, she must succeed under pressure, while personally, her trust, heart, and life plans hang in the balance. By highlighting this delicate equilibrium, the story sets up a compelling narrative tension, ensuring readers are invested in both Maya's career and emotional journey. The inciting incident begins with Maya's private investigation, driven by a gnawing suspicion she can no longer ignore. Unable to shake the unease she feels around Ethan, she secretly checks his phone, a violation she would have never considered under normal circumstances, but the velvet box and note have shattered her trust. Her worst fears are confirmed. Photos of Anna, intimate messages, and detailed plans for a proposal are all meticulously documented. The contrast between the love she believed in and the reality she uncovers hits her like a physical blow. This moment crystallizes the betrayal and transforms abstract doubt into undeniable evidence. The act of discovering the truth privately intensifies the emotional impact, as Maya must process shock, anger, and heartbreak internally before confronting Ethan. The scene is pivotal because it shifts her role from passive observer in her life to an active agent faced with an urgent moral and emotional dilemma. It is the moment when narrative tension escalates, signaling to the audience that Maya's personal life will no longer remain in the shadows of secrecy or denial. The immediate consequences of the discovery are both visceral and dramatic. Shock quickly morphs into anger, and despair gnaws at her sense of self-worth. When Maya confronts Ethan, the tension reaches a boiling point. Ethan initially lies, claiming the situation is a misunderstanding, and his defensiveness only intensifies Maya's disillusionment. His attempt to minimize the betrayal forces Maya to reconcile the charming, dependable partner she once trusted with the deceitful man she now sees. Her trust, once a cornerstone of their relationship, shatters completely, leaving her emotionally unmoored. These interactions highlight the psychological complexity of betrayal, the oscillation between disbelief, confrontation, and processing pain. The confrontation also propels the story forward, forcing Maya to make choices she had previously avoided, whether to demand answers, seek revenge, or prioritize her own healing. Her emotional reaction serves as both a narrative pivot and a catalyst for character development, emphasizing how personal betrayal can precipitate life-altering decisions. Supporting characters provide both grounding and contrasting perspectives as Maya grapples with the inciting incident. Clara, pragmatic and fiercely protective, encourages Maya to step back, reflect, and evaluate her life beyond immediate emotional reaction. She embodies rationality and loyalty, reminding Maya of the importance of perspective and long-term thinking. Jason, her empathetic younger brother, emphasizes self-respect and emotional integrity over impulsive confrontation, reinforcing the notion that personal boundaries and dignity must guide her decisions. These external voices create narrative tension by offering differing approaches to the betrayal, enriching the emotional texture of the scene. The discovery serves as the story engine. It forces Maya into action, sets the plot in motion, and ensures that the rising tension is emotionally charged. With betrayal, moral shock, and the urgent need for decision-making at the forefront, the inciting incident seamlessly transitions the story from exposition to active conflict, compelling readers to follow Maya's journey through heartbreak and personal transformation. The rising tension begins with the gradual breakdown of Maya and Ethan's relationship, which is now dominated by emotional manipulation and distrust. In an effort to protect herself, Maya distances herself from Ethan, but he counters her withdrawal with guilt, charm, and subtle flattery, creating a confusing emotional push and pull. This manipulation destabilizes Maya further, leaving her constantly second-guessing her emotions and reactions. At work, the strain manifests as distraction and fatigue, resulting in mistakes and friction with colleagues who are unaccustomed to seeing her so unsettled. The narrative juxtaposes her professional competence with her personal vulnerability, highlighting the psychological toll of betrayal. By showing the conflict spilling into her career, the story raises the stakes, demonstrating that Ethan's deception affects every facet of Maya's life. The audience experiences the tension on multiple levels: personal, professional, and emotional. This period of escalating conflict not only tests Maya's patience and judgment but also allows readers to empathize deeply with her turmoil, rooting for her eventual empowerment and resolution. Internal conflict becomes a central theme as Maya wrestles with self-doubt and guilt. She questions her own judgment, replaying moments of the relationship and asking whether she missed subtle signs of Ethan's infidelity. Thoughts like "was I not enough?" or "could I have prevented this?" haunt her, shaking the confidence she once held both professionally and personally. These self-reflective moments humanize Maya, making her relatable and multidimensional. The narrative can interweave flashbacks of happier, more secure times to heighten the emotional contrast, emphasizing the depth of betrayal and loss. As her resilience begins to build, these internal battles become pivotal in character development. The audience witnesses her gradual transition from shock and despair toward determination, laying the groundwork for strategic decision-making later in the story. This internal struggle underscores the story's emotional core. Betrayal is not just external, but a force that challenges self-perception, agency, and emotional equilibrium. The tension escalates further when Ethan flaunts his betrayal publicly by introducing Anna into their social circle at a high-profile party. Witnessing moments of intimacy and future planning that exclude her intensifies Maya's humiliation and emotional pain, forcing her to confront the reality of her fractured relationship in a social context. Allies such as Clara provide essential support, helping Maya strategize responses that are both practical and emotionally protective. Clara encourages her to assert boundaries, process emotions constructively, and navigate the social minefield without losing composure. These interactions showcase both the importance of strong support systems and Maya's evolving emotional strength. The narrative technique of interweaving introspection, flashbacks, and present humiliation heightens tension and suspense, keeping the audience invested in her journey. The emotional focus shifts from isolation and betrayal toward the beginnings of empowerment, signaling a turning point. Maya is no longer merely a victim, but an active participant in reclaiming her agency and preparing for the eventual climax. The climax begins with Maya uncovering the full scope of Ethan's deception, which extends far beyond his relationship with Anna. Through careful observation, investigation, and piecing together subtle clues, she realizes that Ethan has been manipulating multiple relationships to bolster his social status and financial advantage. This revelation reframes previous events, turning what she initially perceived as a personal betrayal into a systematic pattern of exploitation. The turning point is significant because it transforms Maya's understanding of Ethan. He is not only unfaithful, but he is also strategically opportunistic, using intimacy as a tool rather than engaging in genuine connection. This broader deception raises the stakes emotionally and socially, as Maya realizes the extent to which Ethan has impacted not just her life, but the lives of others in their shared social and professional circles. The audience's anticipation builds, knowing that Maya now holds the power to expose him, setting the stage for a confrontation charged with suspense and moral tension. The emotional confrontation occurs at a public dinner where Ethan, unaware of Maya's preparations, is finally confronted with the truth. Maya presents irrefutable evidence, messages, photos, and timelines highlighting his manipulation and lies. The scene is intense, raw, and highly charged, as the emotional weight of betrayal, anger, and grief converges. Ethan initially attempts to control the narrative, charming or gaslighting mutual friends and colleagues, but Maya's meticulous documentation leaves him with no room to maneuver. This confrontation is as much about reclaiming agency as it is about exposing deceit. The public setting amplifies the stakes, forcing Ethan to face accountability before witnesses. The scene allows the audience to feel Maya's empowerment firsthand. Her courage, preparation, and moral clarity contrast sharply with Ethan's duplicity, heightening the emotional resonance of the moment. It is a turning point where Maya moves from victimhood to active agency. The twist and emotional payoff occur when Maya's evidence and composure decisively unmask Ethan, eliciting reactions of shock and judgment from friends and colleagues alike. The audience experiences catharsis as Maya channels her anger, grief, and sense of injustice into a controlled, morally victorious act. This moment validates her intuition, emotional resilience, and strategic thinking, providing closure to months of internal and external conflict. The confrontation functions both narratively and emotionally. It resolves the tension built through betrayal, manipulation, and humiliation while simultaneously showcasing Maya's growth and empowerment. The scene underscores themes of justice, accountability, and personal agency, ensuring that the climax is satisfying both as a dramatic spectacle and as a moral resolution. It sets up the story's resolution by allowing Maya to reclaim her narrative, establish boundaries, and prepare for a future defined by self-respect and emotional strength. The resolution begins with Maya reclaiming her life and identity by decisively leaving the toxic relationship with Ethan. This act of self-reclamation is both symbolic and practical. She refuses to allow herself to be manipulated, gaslit, or defined by the betrayal she endured. By stepping away, Maya establishes personal boundaries and asserts her autonomy, demonstrating emotional maturity and courage. This separation is not merely physical but also psychological, as she consciously rejects the patterns of self-doubt and insecurity that Ethan's deception had triggered. The audience witnesses Maya taking control of her narrative, turning the page on heartbreak and asserting that her worth is independent of the manipulations of others. This stage of the story emphasizes the importance of agency and self-respect, highlighting that empowerment often begins with choosing oneself over toxic attachments. Maya's choice serves as a model of resilience and courage, leaving readers with a sense of closure and moral satisfaction. Life realignment becomes a central focus as Maya redirects her energy toward career growth, personal development, and nurturing relationships that are genuine and supportive. She reconnects with her family, particularly her younger brother Jason, whose unwavering empathy provides emotional grounding. Her friendship with Clara flourishes, strengthened by shared experiences and mutual trust, and serves as a reminder of the value of loyal, non-toxic relationships. Professionally, Maya channels the lessons learned from personal betrayal into ambition and strategic thinking, allowing her career to flourish without the emotional distractions that once destabilized her. This period of realignment highlights the balance between professional and personal fulfillment, illustrating that recovery involves rebuilding both spheres of life. By emphasizing her proactive steps to reclaim stability, the narrative underscores the theme that healing is an active, ongoing process rather than a passive state. Justice and closure are achieved as the consequences of Ethan's actions become visible. His reputation suffers within their social and professional circles, exposing the broader pattern of manipulation that Maya had uncovered. Anna's role is clarified. She, too, was partially deceived, adding nuance and reducing the sense of personal blame on Maya. This acknowledgement strengthens the moral resolution of the story. Deceit is exposed, accountability is enforced, and Maya's dignity and strength are highlighted. The emotional arc culminates in her transformation from heartbreak and disillusionment to empowerment and self-respect. She emerges independent, confident, and emotionally whole, no longer defined by betrayal but by her resilience and ability to take control of her life. The audience is left with a lasting sense of inspiration, witnessing the full journey from vulnerability to strength, and the narrative closes on a note of healing, empowerment, and renewal. The quiet emotional beat opens with Maya alone in her newly decorated apartment, a space that reflects her reclaimed independence and personal taste. This private moment allows her to process the journey she has undergone, from heartbreak, betrayal, and self-doubt to clarity, strength, and empowerment. By opening her journal and writing, "I almost lost myself for someone who never truly loved me. But I found me again," Maya externalizes her introspection and self-realization. The journal acts as a narrative device, giving the audience access to her inner thoughts, emotional honesty, and sense of closure. This scene emphasizes the importance of self-reflection in healing and underscores that personal growth is often the most profound outcome of a challenging experience. Her calm composure in this intimate moment contrasts sharply with earlier turmoil, signaling to the audience that Maya has not only survived the betrayal but has processed it in a way that strengthens her emotional core. The focus here is on internal resolution rather than dramatic action, highlighting the subtle power of reclaiming one's sense of self. The subtle triumph reinforces the theme of self-validation and achievement beyond romantic entanglements. When Maya receives a promotion notification on her phone, it acts as an external acknowledgement of her professional competence and dedication. Unlike past moments where external validation might have been tied to Ethan's approval or influence, this triumph symbolizes personal accomplishment and recognition earned through her own efforts. It serves as a narrative device to illustrate that her worth and success are not contingent upon romantic validation but stem from her resilience, intelligence, and determination. This moment provides emotional resonance for the audience, offering a sense of tangible payoff for Maya's struggles and perseverance. Professionally and personally, she has regained balance, and the promotion reinforces the message that empowerment encompasses every area of life, not just emotional or relational victories but also personal and career growth. The full circle and ending beat bring the story to an emotionally satisfying close. Flashbacks of the engagement ring, once a painful symbol of betrayal, now appear in Maya's reflections as markers of lessons learned and personal growth. These images underscore her transformation, allowing the audience to see how she has reframed past pain into wisdom and resilience. As she pours a cup of tea and smiles softly, the camera lingers on her composed, content face, symbolizing quiet empowerment and emotional closure. The audience experiences catharsis, witnessing a protagonist who has not only survived adversity but emerged emotionally whole, confident, and self-assured. This ending emphasizes the story's core message: healing and self-empowerment are the ultimate forms of triumph, and personal peace is the most meaningful reward after betrayal and hardship.